Hi guys, welcome to this video series on quadratic equations. In this first video, we're looking at Introduction to Quadratic Equations. The expressions of the form x plus 3 and 4x plus 6 are called linear expressions. This is because the highest power of x is 1. So if you look here, we have x plus 3. The power of x here is 1. So since it is 1, it is invisible. Here we have another x. The power of x here is also 1. But on the other hand, expressions of the form 3x squared plus 11x plus 10 is a quadratic expression. So here I'm trying to show you the difference between a linear expression and a quadratic expression. So for a linear expression, the highest power of x is 1. But if you look at this quadratic expression, we can see that the highest power of x here is 2. Okay, not 1, but 2. Any expression of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is a quadratic expression. So this is a quadratic expression. If you look at it, the highest power of x is 2. We also have an x here whose power is 1, and we'll have a constant value without x. Okay, so a in a quadratic expression generally is the coefficient of x squared. B is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant, the value without x. But remember, we are looking at quadratic equations. So there's a little difference between a quadratic expression and a quadratic equation. So here we have ax squared plus bx plus c. This is a quadratic expression. But here we have a quadratic equation. The difference between a quadratic equation is we have equal to 0. So a quadratic expression does not have an equal to sign and does not have any value on the right. But a quadratic equation has equal to sign and a value on the right side. It could be 0, it could be something else. Now, in this series, we are going to be looking at 3 different methods of solving quadratic equations. Although before we start looking at how to solve quadratic equations, we are going to see how to factorize quadratic expressions in the next 2 videos. Okay, so but now let's look at the 3 different methods that we'll be considering in this series. The first one is the formula method. So the formula method is the simplest method of solving quadratic equation because it consists of a simple formula that you only need to impute the values of a, b, and c in order to get the values of x. The second method is the factoring method. And the third method is the completing the square method. The factoring method has a limitation which we are going to consider when we are learning how to solve quadratic equations using factoring method. Okay? In solving quadratic equations, we'll end up having 2 values of x. When solving linear equations, though this is not a linear equation, this is a linear expression, but if you have an equation like this, 4x plus 6 is equal to 10. Now, this is a linear equation. When you solve for x, you are only going to get one value of x. But if you have an equation like this, 3x squared plus 11x plus 10 is equal to 0. When you solve this quadratic equation, you are going to end up having 2 values of x. So anytime you solve a quadratic equation, you are going to have 2 values of x. So I'd like you to check all the videos in this series to see how to solve quadratic equations. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions as you go along watching all the videos in this series, you can leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video. Please share with your friends and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.